This is an
This
intro.
is the heart
of the video.
That is at the
Such
beginning
an
of the
intro.
So it's the beginning of the
introing.
video. I plan on doing a lot more jams over the summer. That is at least 3, and this one doesn't count. I decided that for the first jam I would participate in this summer, I would join ScoreSpace. ScoreSpace is a jam where you have a total of 3 days to make a high score game. If your game makes it to one of the top 3 spots, streamers will play your game and compete to get one of the highest scores. This jam, not this video, is sponsored by Lootlocker, which is a tool that lets you make all kinds of online things for your game, from online leaderboards to DLC to user-generated content. The submissions are required to add an online leaderboard in order to make it easier for streamers to compare and flex their scores. So, of course, if you make a top spot, your game has to have Lootlocker implemented. So, just use Lootlocker. Here's the theme. It's your textbook game jam theme where it's one word and yeah, I decided I wanted to make my game backwards from my regular workflow, since doing that wouldn't be detrimental in this case. Of course, I still started by creating a new Unity project and importing the movement script I used in my previous game, but shut up. But I added a pause menu and a main menu, things I normally do last before I start the level design process. I then put ideas down on a Google Doc. Most of this isn't used. I have an idea for what the game should look like, which is different from my normal aesthetic, and it involves realistic materials. Luckily, AmbientCG.com is a goldmine for free assets high quality enough to be used in big-budget CGI projects, so obviously they will look good in my game. Here are the ones that I decided to download. In addition, here's some materials that I made a little while ago for another project. I then added some post-processing. The most notable feature is the color grading, which is so green it will hack your computer. Here's the most realistic drone I've ever modeled so far, and no, I am not giving it propellers. Here it is in game. Here it is in game, except more. Here it is in game, except now it moves on its own. No, it's not AI, it just moves on its own. This is not a landmine. I swear. See, you can stand on it, and it doesn't explode. It's not a landmine, which is good because now it multiplies on its own. I also made the drones multiply on their own. Okay, maybe not this much. Also, you can collect these things now, which is how I'm implementing the theme. So I decided to make them look less like landmines, because you are actually supposed to step on them. When I settled on a design for that, I started working on a HUD, which is currently useless as there's absolutely no way to change your health and ammo. But that all changes with the military-grade attack drone. See, what this thing does is it changes your health, and it would work if it didn't not work. And now it works, and now they can be spawned randomly by the same drones that spawn the thing you have to collect. Gun in game. I also added explosions. What's cool is that when you blow up one attack drone, the others are also affected, which would crash the game when it happened to more than 6 of them, so that's not a thing anymore. And also exploding barrels. Allow me to dissect what's going on in this clip. Most of the sounds are reused. The explosion is an edited Vine boom. The drone sounds are new. Did you know that when you die, you die? I also added a recoil effect and a muzzle flash to the gun. Then I started working on a map. This city feels a little drab and cramped for my liking, and none of these buildings are at the right scale, but it works anyway. I started just copy and pasted the same 5 buildings, and then got bored of that and started putting random floating platforms everywhere. Because of this, it heavily relies on wall jumping. I also made it clear which number is which to prevent confusion. And now, Internet. Remember when I said I had to use Lootlocker to make an online leaderboard? Well, now I have to use Lootlocker to make an online leaderboard. So first I used a guest authentication system so that the player can easily jump into the game. For those of you who don't know, guest authentication is the simplest form of logging into a video game. For example, .io games. Then there's white label authentication, which would be creating a new account on your own platform, where you have a username and password. Platform authentication is using the account of the platform the game runs on, like Steam, Xbox, or PlayStation. And here's the leaderboard that I totally followed a tutorial to make. You wouldn't believe how difficult it was to show the leaderboard in the main menu. I then added a way to change your username, because if everyone's name is just a bunch of numbers, it would be very confusing, and I wouldn't be able to flex how much better I am than you at my game, which would be catastrophic. Anyway, I beefed up the menu screen and added a name and logo. I also made it show random tips. You know, the useful stuff. WASD to move, space to jump, shoot to shoot the shotgun, subscribe. Since I have like 2 hours left, I quickly built a Unity project, which wasn't quick, because you literally have to redo every single thing in Lootlocker to move it to production, and submitted it to the jam. Links in the description. This is an outro part of the video. That is a very outro. It is
This is
the end of the
outro.
video.
And it's at the end.